Good morning, Facebook, YouTube.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Help Matters. Remember, we welcome your views and your opinions, so you can share, comment. Come on, get up, cause you tune into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spirit you need. Yeah, strong words to empower people, to promote the peace, no positive attitudes, baby, that's a lifelong dream goal. Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become the better you, to be the best version you can be. Health matters to me. Yeah, it's time for this classic, fantastic, hope for your soul. With Jackie and Coach Patrick right here, let's go. Health matters to me. Good morning, everyone. This is Jackie.
And Coach Patrick.
And you're listening to Help Matters here, right here on WAAW Shout 94.7 FM, the voice of the gospel truth.
And this is such a beautiful day that the Lord has made.
And we're going to choose to rejoice and be glad in it.
Yes. Just waking up with all my strength, in my right mind. I'm celebrating that.
Yes.
I'll just start right there.
That's it. Always find something to be grateful for, command your morning, get up, command your morning. And one way to do that is just thank God for another day that He has made. His mercy is new every day. His grace is sufficient,
Yes, it is.
in our insufficiency. So we thank God, for Jesus. We thank God for His grace. We thank God for His mercy. And we thank Him yet for another day that we live to serve, to do His will.
It's all about pleasing Him.
Amen. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Having faith that you're going to have a great day. Go ahead and confess it.
Yes.
He's pleased without faith. Matter of fact, it's impossible to please Him without faith.
Yeah.
So I have faith that I'm going to have a great day. An awesome day. He's going to bring those people before my path that He needs to get a word to. He's going to use me as a willing vessel today.
Yes. And you just don't know, and you go about you prepare for that, and God already know who He needs to, who needs to hear word from you, And so it could be something you just prayed about. It could be something you just, God just gave you revelation on something about, and you run across somebody and you give that same, word. Always be ready to witness, to someone, because you never know, like I said, who need that word. Show an act of kindness, sow and show.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's welcome everybody that's tuning in on WAW 94.7 across the airways, those that are coming in on our social media platforms, Facebook, Get Fit with Jackie Fitness, and on YouTube, Help Matters, Jackie and Coach. Thank you so much for joining us on this morning. This morning we're going to be talking about a healthy back-to-school transition. Can you believe it? We're back, going back to school already. I think Aiken starts Monday.
Monday, the 20th.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I think Richmond County, Columbia start around the first week of August.
Yeah.
So,
but the teachers go back this month.
Yeah, they go back, not this coming week, but next
week.
Following week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Already.
It
was
went
a fast summer.
But hey, we still in that summer heat.
Oh,
Coach.
yes. I mean, we haven't even got in August yet.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's so hot.
The heat is on.
The heat is on.
It is on. And it ain't going to get
I tell you, it's good to get that vitamin D out there, but you still have to,
stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Make sure you're staying hydrated, guys, especially if you're out. You're working out in this heat. Make sure you're
we kicked them off talking about summer safety. So if you missed those, go back and catch them. We talked about hydration, dehydration, and all of those things.
Yes.
Make sure you get them. All right, we're going to recognize our sponsors, Aiken Chiropractic. Dr. Dan, when your spine is aligned, your body is too. Aiken Chiropractic is located at 425 Lawrence Street Northwest here in Aiken, South Carolina. Their number is 803-641 9191. And their website is www.aikenchiropractic.com. And Centerville Senior Primary Care, they're helping seniors live healthier and happier lives. They're located on 3435 Wrightsboro Road in Augusta, Georgia. 706-841-9719 is their number. And their website is www.centerwell.com. And Graham's Vehicle Detailing, affordable mobile detailing with professional results every time. Their number is 706-830-4982. And their website is www.grahamsgvd.com. If you'd like to be a sponsor, partner, or friend of the broadcast, please call 706-592-8862. We would love for you to partner with us to help us come across these airways every Saturday at 8 a.m. and do what we do for the CSRA community. Of course, there's always other options for the radio station. If you want to brand your brand throughout the week, you can do that. There are options with the radio station that you can get for advertising packages. You can call the office number at 803-649-6405. 6405.
All right. And of course, we have social media platform, but what better way to have someone else do that for you, on the radio and put that out there, and it's running through the day, when your ads are running through the day, your business is running through the day, through the week. So that is a benefit for you. That's a plus for you. So just find the package that works for you and your business, and, it's coming up to that next level of advertisement.
And radio is still an awesome, very effective way in which to advertise your brand and communicate to the community that you serve. We have a big footprint here at WAAW. We cover many counties, not just Aiken and Richmond and Columbia counties, but we cover Burke County, we cover Saluda, we cover a lot of the South Carolina, all the way close up to Columbia, South Carolina. So we have a wide footprint. And as far deep south as, like I say, Burke County, even close to Thompson, McDuffie County. So there's a lot of areas that we cover, and that's the customer base that you want to reach. So we can help you do that. All right. Happy birthday to everybody that's been celebrating their birthdays during this hot month of July.
Oh, yes.
Happy birthday. We just celebrated our granddaughter, Aya's birthday on last weekend. She turned 7. She say that's the number of completion. I don't know what she thinks she done completed at 7 years old, but it is the number of completion. Well, she completed the first grade. How about that?
Yes. And also, we want to give a shout out to my nephew in Atlanta, Landon Allen. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Roderick.
Happy born day.
Roderick in Mobile, Alabama, Low Alabama. Happy birthday to you, nephew. And Joanne. Happy birthday, Joanne, here in Aiken, North Augusta. Joanne Moody, happy birthday to you. And happy anniversary to everyone that's celebrating anniversaries during this great month of July. We celebrated our pastors on last weekend. They're celebrating 40 years of marriage.
Yes.
Wow,
blessed.
Awesome. That is a blessing all by itself. That's a lifetime.
Yes, it is.
40 years.
And Donna Westby, happy anniversary.
I think they celebrated 28 years.
Oh, okay.
Another milestone.
All right.
That's awesome. Awesome. It's good to see, marriages, especially these days, weather the storm and, and last. And, that's one thing about marriage, no marriage is perfect, but you learn each other. You compromise to where you have to compromise, and
it's a lot of give and take.
It works.
It's a lot of give and take.
It works. Keep God first.
And it's absolutely, and it's growing, and it's learning each other. It's becoming and knowing each other's differences and each other's strengths and weakness, and we're pulling on those. Each other's strengths and weakness,
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Absolutely.
And know basically how know when to say something.
Yes. And know how we are wired. That's and how important. God wired women. That's and how he wired men. And how we, submit, and how we do the things that we're supposed to do as men and women. Just knowing our roles and how we, we flow.
Right, and
in
be
our
friends. You
relationship.
know, be friends. Jackie's my
Yes.
best friend. You know,
Yeah.
she's my best friend. I love hanging
Yes.
out with her. I love being with her.
Yeah.
But I do get my me time. But you know, she's my
Right.
best friend. I don't
Yeah.
just love her. I'm not just in love with her, but I love hanging with her.
And I
You
like
know,
him.
I
I
love
love him.
being
I
with
like him as well.
her. Awesome.
So,
All right,
guys,
girl.
that's just a
We got to
tidbit.
get through this show
I know,
now.
right? But yes, and so
All
this
right.
is us every day, all day. We do. We disagree, but we agree to
Sure do.
disagree.
We
You
sure
know, we
disagree.
all have,
But we
different.
don't hold grudges.
No, we
We
don't.
don't let it dictate the rest of our day.
Oh no, we
We
talk
move
about
past
it.
it. Yeah,
Hmm.
we move past it and come back
Absolutely.
to it later.
We have to practice that, don't
Oh yeah, you don't get there overnight,
we? That's
and you're
growth,
still practicing it.
and you still
Right, that's
practicing.
the thing about marriage. You know, you're becoming one.
Yeah,
You know,
because
that's
there are different
infinitum.
seasons in our
Yeah,
lives, and there's
yeah,
different stages
you're right.
in our lives.
Right
So
about
we
it.
have to make adjustments
As we
in
go,
as we go.
as we flow.
As we go. Okay, let's get to this lesson.
All right,
All right, guys out there.
happy birthday, happy anniversary to everybody that are celebrating. A few announcements. We are talking this morning about healthy back to school transition. Just want to announce that. Well, I'll say that for my Health Matters happenings for the sake of time. We'll announce all of the back to school events that's coming up in the great CSRA here. So
Yes, and of course, that's our back to school tune, where we bring you relevant information that pertain to your health and well being and resources that is available to you in your community.
all right, so because we're going back to school, as I was saying, just want to dedicate this segment of Health Matters Happenings to announce the events that's going on in and around our area here. The Chandler Law Firm will be hosting another Fit for School event for Aiken County students. It will be held at the Aiken County Family YMCA on today from 10 a.m. To 1 p.m. Families can enjoy food, entertainment. They can meet their favorite superheroes and princesses and receive free school supplies, backpacks, writing utensils, notebooks, and more during the event. They can get haircuts, health screenings. So this is going to be a great event. You really want to be there to participate. It's for K through 12 students or all the way through high school. So this is going to help you roar into the school year with superheroes, princesses, as I said, fun activities, and more. To learn more about the event, you can go to fitforschoolalkin.com. Again, fitforschoolalkin.com. Some other back to school events. Guiding Path Enrichment Center is hosting an event today from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's going to be at the Warren Road Community Center. The Warren Road Community Center. And then another back to school extravaganza happening today from 10 to 4 p.m. Roy Warner Park in Wagner, South Carolina. It will include free book bags, school supplies, food, clothes, gift cards, haircuts, braiding of the hair, and more. So you don't want to miss these events. And then Augusta Worship Center is going to host its 7th annual Back to School Backpack Giveaway on today from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's going to be on Mike Paget Highway. That address is 3840. Many book packs filled with school supplies will be given away. First come, first serve. The child must be present. Then the CSRA Mega Back to School Bash is happening July 25th. That's next weekend at the Henry Brigham Community Center, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then the Road to Greatness LLC is hosting a supply bash on July 25th at Diamond Lakes Elementary School. That's on July 25th. And then Together We Give will do a giveaway on July 25th, also beginning at 2 p.m. That's going to be on 1507 North Leg Road in Augusta, Georgia. So, and Greater Young Zion, final one. Greater Young Zion Baptist Church will host a supply giveaway on August 1st from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now, if you want to get more information on all of these events, there's a lot of good things, health screening, things like that will be going on at these back to school events. You can get a lot of information out the WJBF, the news channel station there. They have a list of them, okay? So just do some searches, put in there back to school events in the CSRA, and you'll get all kind of events that's coming up. So this has been your Health Matters Happenings.
All right, guys, and that leads us right into our our wellness tips for today, and that's going to be related to going back to school because sometimes kids can have a hard time transitioning school, especially if the little ones are new. Preschool or kindergarten. That can be tough on them. So you want to make sure your kids have all the necessary documents that is required by the Department of Health in the schools. You want to make sure they have the physical exams or any type of exams your kids need to have if they have any type of learning disability or something with them, making sure those things are documented on paper. They have allergies, those type of things. We're going to be getting in more details about this. I'm just running through some of the wellness tips. You want to make sure their sleep schedule, because they've been out for the summer and their sleep schedules off. So parents, that means you have to make some adjustments as well with your schedule so you can get them back on schedule with their schedule. And also backpack safety. Dr. Dan talks about that all the time. Our kids have so many things in their backpack and it's not adjusted. And there is a certain adjustment that kids should have. And so he probably will be doing a broadcast about that as well. And also, you just want to decrease anything with anxiety. Talk to your children, listen to them, acknowledge their emotions and all that. All right. So, but again, utilize all the free resources out there for you. People out there, giving the free resource. We want to thank all the communities and all the people that are out there. So go out there and take advantage of all the resources.
That's
right. That's been your Health Matters Happening.
Wellness tip.
Oh, yes.
And happening.
Wellness tip. All right, guys.
Listen, guys, as Jackie said, make sure you participate. The CSRA community does this for you. So participate. Giving doesn't take place unless receiving takes place. So be in the receiving mode and receive the things that are being given away to help you get your kids back into school, because that can be very expensive.
Oh, yes.
Very expensive.
Oh, yes.
Getting schools
today,
back in school.
Yes, it can.
Well, I went to Catholic school, so we had, uniforms for most of my, young school term. Anyway, I went to Catholic school. I did transition to public school. That was a transition, I tell you. But, let's talk about it, Jack. Let's talk about healthy back to school transitions, because sometimes kids have a tough time, making that back to school transition. They could be going to school for the first time. I think you mentioned that. Or they could be going to a new grade. They could be going to a new school. So, we have to let them know that it's normal to feel a little nervous about the first day of school, and then just reassure them that it'll become a routine, and then allow them time to adjust.
Yes.
Kids go through stressful situations.
Just like adults do.
And like I said, if they're going to a new school or going to a new grade or, school for the first time, these things can be stressful for them.
Right.
So we just have to work with them, understand that they're working through it in their own ways also, and we kind of help them, navigate through those things, letting them know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And, it'll become normal to them.
Yeah.
And plus, they're going to learn. They're going to add friends and things of that nature. So you know how kids are.
Yeah, and also just make it positive for them. Create some positive things before they go back to school. Have them talk about different situations, or create my daughter's very good at creating kind of games and just kind of things up into school. Okay, we get ready to go back to school. Okay, what are some of the things?
Seeing old friends.
So she creates this environment, for our grandkids, and so they can get transition and get excited about school, so that's good.
Right. So those are some, like you say, focus on the positive things. Like you say, seeing the friends that you hadn't seen over the summertime. If you're just going back to school, meeting new classmates. Think about that, meeting new classmates.
Right.
Some of the kids love sports, so participating in sports and other activities. All of these things are coming back. So focus on those positive things. Especially if, like I said, if they're going to be participating in sports or other activities at the school. And it's also important to talk about what worries them. Like I
Yes.
say, they go through their stresses too. So it's important that we talk about what is it you're worrying about.
Right.
Try to get to the root of that, and then just offer some reassurance.
Yes.
Letting them know that you're going to be there, that you got other credible authority within the school system that is going to be there. But it's important, that if they have a certain worry, that they talk about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't just hold
Let
it
them
in.
acknowledge. Yeah,
Right.
that's acknowledging those the emotion. They're valid, and
That's
you
right.
want to validate that because you don't want them being quiet because some kids get bullied.
All right. And
You
then some
know.
kids are introverts too,
Yeah.
and they may be afraid that they won't even make new friends or get along
Right.
with their teachers or something like that.
Yes. So you just
Right.
want to make sure your kids are comfortable coming to you,
Right.
and having a conversation with you, and always be aware of change behaviors, especially your child.
Right.
And get books on things how to, if I meet new friends and how
Right.
to make adjustments, and so those things help as well.
Right. And we have some very intelligent grandbabies, and I know all of you guys do, grandbabies and children, but we have some very intelligent grandbabies. But one of the things that one of our oldest grandson, he was concerned with, he told me of the thought about schoolwork, at the next level. Is it going to be harder or things like that? So, you have to work through that. You have to navigate through that. Though
Yeah.
he's stressing out over, the work is going to get harder,
Yeah.
because he's going to a new grade now. But, we sat down, we talked about it, and told him that he's fully capable. Our pastor says this all the time: if you can teach it, I can learn it.
That's
So,
it.
and that's what I reinforce with him. That the teacher can teach it and they can. You'll learn it,
Yes.
So just give yourself time to learn it. But you said something there about bullying. So, because maybe, some of the kids are worried about bullying or the bully from last year,
Right.
So talk about those things. Let them know that they have to report those things,
Right.
And if it's something where you may need to have a parent a meeting with the teachers at the school of the bully of the student that's doing the bullying, you guys sit down and try to work through that thing if possible.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's a big distraction.
Right.
Kids go to
It
school to
is.
learn and get
Right.
better and grow and mature and things of that nature. You got no time to be worrying about, going to school, somebody taking your lunch money or, they want to take your shoes or slapping you upside the head or things like that. That's not good.
No.
That's not good.
No. Also,
and that could be traumatic.
Yes, and bus rides. Talk about bus rides. Some kid ride buses.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they open and communicating if they're not
Something's going on the bus, right?
It's going on the bus, or sometimes the bus drivers can miss it.
That's
Make
right.
sure everybody's on the bus, or so watch out for one another on the bus.
Most definitely.
Such and such is not on the bus. This is. So just kind of talk about those things. These things you have to talk about because all this stuff happens during the year. We see that, we hear about it and we see it. So these things,
it's real.
Yeah, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And it can, they go to school year round. So I know that was a big transition for children, but it's been a lot of positive feedback about it. So that's a good thing.
Well, it keeps their time occupied and it helps them to get the credits that they need to move forward.
Yes,
so
that's a good thing. Yeah.
So if your child is starting a new school, you can always contact the school before the first day, and you still got time to do these things before the first day to arrange a visit. Maybe you can arrange for your child to be paired up with someone they already know. If they're going to a new school, maybe they met, if you just moved to this area, but they've met somebody in the neighborhood that go to the same school, maybe you can just, communicate to the school and help them be paired up with that child so that they already know somebody at the new school. That'll help with a little of their stress or whatever. Listen, you can always call in, guys. We love to hear your views and opinions on what the topics that we're talking about. We're talking about a healthy back to school transition. The call-in number is 803-226-0041 or 803-226-0043. You can call and you can just tell us whatever you want to communicate to the CSRA on how you work your healthy back to school transition, and or if something that we've said you have more questions about, please feel free to call in on those numbers.
Yes, and call in Waynesboro, New Ellerton, Augusta, North Augusta.
If you can hear us,
guys, call in. What are some of the things that you are doing to prepare your children for back to school because that, like I said, that can be a huge transition for children. But you want to make it as pleasant and as comfortable. It ain't perfect, but if I can help in any way by talking to my children and doing practices of, how to um, behave on a bus, or talk about these.
Set those rules in place.
Yes, put those things. Have boundaries, healthy boundaries. Open and communicate. With teachers or adults that are in credible authority to them.
Right. And Jackie, when kids are going to school for the first time, or even if they're going to new school, these things that we're talking about can help both the parent and the student with transitions, because parents can be a little nervous too.
Absolutely.
About the first day of school, especially if they're seeing their child out for the first time, or if their child will be attending a new school. Parents can struggle with that stuff too. I know my daughter, she cried like a baby when all three of her kids went back to school. So I don't get that emotional, but people are different, and it's emotional and it touches people differently, so yeah.
And prepare them. A lot of kids unfortunately come unprepared because they put all the responsibility on the teachers.
Right.
But it's certain things that parents should already be preparing their kids, their name, and how to put on their coat, and how to put on their clothing, and because that becomes now more extra work on the teacher. Not that the teacher won't do it, but now this teacher has to take more time out individually with children to kind of
when they expect them to know a
certain type of skill or behavior, or they should be able to have these habits already in place. So parents, let's do our part, because education is a three-way partnership.
Three-way process.
Third grade my son third grade teacher said that, Miss Ford. She made a very positive impact on my son and my life, because I was a volunteer parent. I was that mom, in the schools, volunteering. It's the parent, it's the teacher, and it's the student. You got to have a relationship. When parents notify you, when they call you, answer the phone. Talk to the teachers. Have a partnership with the teacher. Get involved. Volunteer whenever you can at the school. Just make sure the teachers go have lunch with your children.
That's
that's very important. When your kids are there, that shows something, because to the kids, more is caught than taught. And so we want to make sure we stay involved in direct communication. Answer the texts, answer the emails that the teachers send out. And if the teacher is not doing something they're not supposed to do, you go up to them. Don't go fussing, but just go and have a conversation and say, I do respond, but I'm not getting anything back, or, such and such. But have an open communication relationship with your teachers. It makes a difference.
Yes, it does. And you got so many means in which to do that now. Back in our day, we had to make those parent-teacher conferences. You had to go to the school.
Teachers came to your house.
Now you got email, you got text. You got all of these ways in which to maintain that open communication with teachers, to know so that there's no surprises. And yes, you need to go up there with those in-person meetings sometimes. I see Miss Ethel's on. Good morning, Miss Ethel.
Wayne, Miss Ethel.
And Wayne, good morning, guys. And maintain those open communication lines, throughout the school year, to discuss, your kids' academic strengths as well as their weaknesses, so that you can do what you need to do to help them at home. You may need to give them a tutor or something, because you don't want no surprises, when the kids start getting their progress reports and things like that. So keep that path of communication open. Make sure your kids know that you're there to listen to their feelings and concerns, and that you don't expect perfection. Only that they try their best. And that's the thing. We could put so much pressure on our kids, thinking they're supposed to make straight A's. If they're capable, then yeah, we want to encourage them to do that. But we also want to celebrate, the small things that they do
Right.
as they work towards that straight A list. If they're capable, they're capable, but we want it to be healthy.
Yes.
We want it to be healthy,
Yeah.
not unhealthy, where you're causing this kid a lot of stress and things that's going to become strongholds in their life for the long haul.
And Coach, and that's relates to mental emotional health.
Mm-hmm.
That's that mental emotional health, and
Most
we
definitely.
have to be very cognitive of what we say to our children, because word does
Make a difference.
make a difference in what we say. That's
They
why I
can build
say
up, they can tear down.
right, and so we have to be careful with our words and what we say, and don't compare your child with another child.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them is uniquely and fearfully and wonderfully made. They're different and they're unique.
Mm-hmm.
Our job is to see to how do our kids comprehend, how do our kids relate.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do that, you kind of help them. Hey, you got to know who you are. Words of affirmation every morning. My daughter does that every day. She always have a sticker with a word of affirmation on their lunch. She put it in their lunch box. She's put it everywhere. So they have that word of affirmation for today. So they know, that word for the day. What is that? Your word of affirmation today. And I have our youngest grandchild, 3, and she already gives him affirmations already. So she starts that process. And of course, she's a teacher. But parents, you can do these things with your kids.
You did it. You wasn't a teacher.
I wasn't a teacher.
Well, you were a teacher.
I was a teacher for
But,
a couple of years, about 3.5 years I was. So,
but
yes,
as a parent, just
yes.
as a mother,
and it builds their confidence and their self-esteem. We have to start that.
Let's take a soft break.
So, guys, we're going to take a soft break, but we'll be right back here on Help Matters. We've been talking about healthy transition back to school. Guys, remember, go out there and take advantage of the free resources. But we'll be right back. So lock it down here and stay right here on WAW Shout 94.7, the voice of the gospel truth. Help Matters.
All right, Aiken Chiropractic, Dr. Dan. When your spine is aligned, your body is too. Aiken Chiropractic is located right here in Aiken, South Carolina, 425 Lawrence Street, Northwest. Their number is 803-641-9191. Their website is www.aikenchiropractic.com. And Centerwell Senior Primary Care. They're helping seniors live healthier and happier lives. They're located at 3435 Riceboro Road in Augusta, Georgia. Their number is 706-841-9719. Their website is www.centerwell.com. And Graham's Vehicle Detailing, affordable mobile detailing with professional results every time. Their number is 706-830-4982. And their website is www.grahamsgvd.
All right, guys, welcome back to Help Matters, guys. This is Jackie.
And Coach Back.
And we've been talking about healthy back-to-school transition.
Y'all call in and talk too.
I know. Aiken is getting ready to go back to school Monday. Of course, it's hot. It's still hot, guys. We're still in the summertime. So, guys, proceed with cautions, making sure the kids are hydrated. Make sure they're replacing their hydration with water. The electrolyte, lemons, you can use fresh squeezed lemons, coconut water. Those are your natural things. Some people use sports drinks, but be careful of all the sugars and rich ingredients. Read behind the ingredients because they are hitting things in there that can affect, blood sugar levels and,
And a lot of kids are getting type 2 diabetes,
yes,
these
it's
days
showing
because
up.
of the food.
Yes. I
Usually,
promise you, it's showing
you don't
up
have to worry about kids
in
getting
10, 11-year-old pre-diabetes is showing up. With my husband and I are diabetes educators, lifestyle coaches, and so it's showing up. We had our conference early this summer, and the numbers came in, and it's rising. And so we have to be very mindful of, what our children are eating and drinking. And I think we all got to be mindful of what we're eating and drinking. But that's another whole subject.
So guys, call in 803-226-0041, 0043. We're talking about how to back to school transition, and we talked about a lot of things on the first part of the show. You know, although it is normal to be anxious, Jackie, in any new situation. I
Right.
mean, grown-ups experience that, but a few kids can develop real physical symptoms, you know, because of these anxieties, such as headaches, stomach aches, associated with the start of school. So if you're concerned that your child's worries go beyond that normal, you know, back to school jitters, then you need to speak with your child's doctor, chiropractor, not chiropractor, but PDOT, what they call it,
Pediatrician, healthcare
pediatrician.
provider.
There you go,
Yeah.
and teacher or school counselor. Just let them know that you know what's going on with your child. You know, so Jackie stated it earlier. Ensure your children get all the immunizations that they want, that they need. I'm sorry, that they need. Fill out all of the forms that the schools send home. Make sure you fill those out. Emergency contact forms, health information form. All of these things are so very important because you want to ensure that the school nurse and teachers know about any medical conditions that your child may have. They may have food allergies. They may have asthma. They may have, as Jack and I said, type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetic, or any condition, especially if it's going to need to be managed during the school day.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
you're going to have to make arrangements with the school nurse to administer medications if it's got to be managed throughout the day that your child may need. You got to ensure that the teachers know about any conditions that may affect how your child learn, you know, because they learn differently.
Yes.
Some children have attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD. They probably should be seated at the front of the room, you know, if
Yes.
they're challenged with that. A child with vision problems probably need to sit near the board, you
Yes.
know, so that they can see the
And
board.
just don't make everything a behavior issue.
Uh-huh.
You know, talk to the child first and make sure everyone is doing their part. The parent, the teacher, to make sure, you know, that the child is being accommodated, you know, in the
Goes back to
classroom.
that process you talked about,
Exactly. So
parent,
make
teacher,
sure
student.
everything is being put in place. But if you operate and if you talk to the teacher, have an open communication, teachers are more open to being, you know, um, they do that anyway. As they supposed to do that as a teacher anyway. But when they see parents involved, they still go even an extra.
Right. Because they know you can hold them more accountable.
Yes, absolutely.
But not saying that they won't do it if they want to
Right.
accountable, because teachers,
Yes.
you know, they have a passion and a grace to do
It
what
helped
they do.
them because the
But-
teachers are going through a lot too.
Right.
They
Most
going
definitely.
through a whole lot
Most
that they have to deal with. Let's not even forget our teachers out
Right.
there
Right.
that are educating, you know, our children and have them on a majority of their day.
Right. Especially if children have a discipline problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you do have kids
That can be a
that
big
have
distraction.
exactly in the school. So let's talk to our children, you know, and how we respect our adults, we respect our teachers. So let's have a conversation, you know, with our children.
Yeah, we need to get back to that. You know, we always used to
Yes.
say how it took a village, you know, to build to
Yes.
help your children
That's my
grow.
prayer.
You know,
that we
teachers
get-
are part of that village.
they
Parents
are.
are the main part of that village, because no matter what a child learns outside of that home environment, they got to go back into that home
That's it.
environment, and that's where everything, you know, changes. That's where everything takes
And if
place. That's
nothing
where
is
they grow.
changing there,
Right.
it's just kind of
We got to take that personal responsibility.
not balancing off.
Right.
When I'm trying to teach one thing here, but I'm sending them back into
Well, it all
an
starts at
environment.
home. Yeah.
So yes,
It all
so
starts at home.
parents, let's do better. And I say us because I'm a grandparent. I help with my daughter, you know, to help navigate that. I'm like I was that mom, I'm that grandma.
Right.
I get to know the principal. I get to know the teachers,
Right.
you know, even though I don't have a child, I have a grandchild. So
Right.
I'm still involved.
That's it. It's so important for us to do
Yes.
that. Jackie, earlier you talked about in your wellness tips, safe backpacks. You know, it's so
Yes.
important to make sure that your kids get lightweight backpacks, or you want them to try to get those wide padded shoulder straps so that those straps are not digging into their shoulders. If you can, get one with a waist belt on it. You know, that way it ties the bag to body and it's not bouncing and hitting their spine, as they're walking or running. You know how kids can be with belt. Make sure they put both straps on their
over
shoulders
the shoulder.
and not let one hang out, because that can over time it can affect their spine.
And the
As Jackie
posture.
said, Dr. Dan talks about that. He'll probably talk about it this summer before we get back to school. But be mindful of those things. Multiple compartments so that you can section off the different books and things like that, and don't overload them.
Yes.
You overload these bags. These kids going to be trying to pick them up. They're going to put them on their back. They're going to be carrying them in one arm, and it's just not good for their
And
spine.
they carry
over
computers
time.
now. I know my grandkids, they
Mhm.
carry computers, and that's
Right.
heavy as well,
Right.
along with their other things that I have seen their backpacks is heavy,
Right. When we were in school, we had lockers, and we just brought home the books that we needed to bring home.
Yes.
But now it seems like these kids bring home all the books, so I don't
Yes.
know.
So
They
maybe
took
it's
lockers
just,
out.
I don't know,
The
middle school.
kids don't use them. I don't know. But be mindful of the backpacks. Jackie mentioned about the bus. Know where the bus stop is. If your child got to ride the bus, know where the pickup point is, the drop off point is. Know what the time of those pickup and drop off points is, so you can have them there on time. You can be there to pick them up on time. Or you don't want to play with that.
Yeah.
Then wait for the bus to stop. Make sure you stress that to them. Wait for the bus to stop before approaching it. Stress the importance of crossing at the crosswalk, never between parked cars or in front of the school bus. They're so small you can't see them down there. So be mindful of that if you're dealing with bus service. And then if your kid walks to school or ride a bikes to school, make sure you guys pick a safe route, for them to do that. Let them know that it's never okay to accept rides or anything from strangers. Stranger danger.
Yes.
Our
Because we
grandkids know
have
that
so
very
many, and
well.
we thank God that young lady, that 13-year-old was found safe. Praise
Mhm.
God. And we just, we got a lot of stuff going on out there, guys, and we got to be, and we know some things that happened during the summer, so with children. So, guys, we got to be very mindful.
Got to be.
We got to be
Can't
very
take it for
mindful.
granted.
And people in the community, if you see something, say
Say
something. If it's something out of the norm, don't wait till something happens. Say, oh, I saw that, I knew something. Well, no, if you're discerning and you see you see it, then go ahead and say something then, because
That village. We got
that
to
can
get back
help
to that
save
village
a
thinking.
child. You can help save a child.
Yeah.
Be very mindful of our children and your surroundings. And if something is different, something is off, please report it. Please report it. Don't just keep it to yourself. I think today we feel like, hey, if it ain't happening to
stay
me,
out of it.
I'm gonna stay out of it. Just like in the community, I grew up where everybody around the corner was my mama or somebody, and I got it from
You
there
got to whip it all the way back.
all
to
the way. And then when I got back to the house,
Yeah.
especially my, Auntie Helen, I'm telling you guys, we got to get back to the basics. We really do. And
takes a village. It still takes a village.
Continue to pray.
Right.
Just continue to just
That's the
pray.
most powerful thing you can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
pray.
Reach, and we have to, I think I forgot, she was on our show years ago, and she deals, she had a program where she dealt with behavior of children and how
I can't think of her name.
I can't think of her name. I think of it, but she talked about.
And she even went into the house and talked to
She
the
said
parents.
you got to get to the parents, because we don't know what parents have been through or unresolved issues they have had during their childhood, and these things can kind of follow kids throughout their lives without, these behaviors, without, dealing with them or talking about them, or, getting to some type of balance with them. So, guys, yes, just have to pray for our communities and pray for the CSRA, not just Augusta, South Carolina. We have to pray for our youth, and we have to pray for our communities in our city.
As I say, safe routes are so important. Make sure you guys, if they're walking or biking to school, so important. If kids are approaching adolescence, they're mature enough to be at home alone. That's another, big thing right there. Even kids as old as 11 or 12 may not be ready to be left home alone. So we can't just look at that age. We have to look at their maturity level. And when you do decide that they can stay at home alone, you make sure that you establish some clear rules If your kids or your teens are home alone after school, you want to set a time when they're expected to be there at the house from school. You want to make sure that they check in with you or a trusted neighbor as soon as they get home. You want to make sure they do those things. Then you want to specify who, if anyone, you're going to allow to come to your home when you're not there and when they're there by themselves. So make sure that they know to never open the door for strangers, and make sure they know what to do in an emergency. These things are very important if they're going to be, we just call them what, latchkey kids.
Yes.
Yeah, when they come home from school and they're at home by themselves. But now, depending, you got something, Jackie?
No, go
So
ahead.
yeah, depending on the child's age and maturity, as we said, you may need to arrange for after school transportation and care. And that's elements that comes with that we have to be mindful of.
Right.
If you can't be there as soon as school is out, ask a reliable or responsible, trusted relative, friend, or neighbor to help out. These days you just can't take anything for granted when you're dealing with your children. We see that in the news right now.
Right.
If a mother and father can do what they did to that young baby, that 4-year-old baby, we're not going to go there, but you see what things that can be happening. So just make sure if they're to be picked up after school, that they should know when and who will pick them up when the school lets out. So you can see that the communication process between you, the teacher, your kids, it's got to be open. It's got to be fluid. It's got to be accurate. It's got to be, it's got to be open. You got to do it. You got to talk to your children.
Yes, and these kids are very, 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 very smart these days. They're very aware. They're more aware.
Right. Social media.
Because there's so much out there we wasn't exposed to. We was exposed to things, but they're exposed to even more.
Right.
So we have to be very, very mindful.
Most definitely.
Of what our kids are looking at and relationships. You really have to. So it's a lot.
Right. But it's doable.
Yes,
it's all possible
yes,
with God.
yes.
It's all things are possible with God. That's why you got to have them first and foremost. Make sure your children are praying. Make sure they understand when God does things good in your life. They know it and they see it and they identify it. Yeah, make a big thing of it. So if you're going to look into after school programs, look for school afternoon programs that may be organized by the school or places of worship, YMCAs, community centers, and parks and recreation departments. So it's going to require you to do a little research, to find something that's going to work and match up with your child, because after school activities offer kids a productive alternative, than just going home and watching TV or playing video games, so that's good alternative there. It provides adult supervision. So you got adult supervision at these places, and then help kids develop, interests and talents in things activities that they may be doing there. Then they also get to meet new people and develop social skills. That's a big one.
Right.
Kids get involved and it keeps them out of trouble. And that's the biggest thing. We don't want any hurt, harm, or danger, unnecessary hurt, harm, or danger to come to our kids. One of the things you want to pay attention to is the child to staff ratio. If you do participate in any after school program, make sure that there are enough adults per child and that the facilities are safe, the indoors and out. When they're indoors, it's safe. When they're outdoors, it's safe. And when the after school program ends, just make sure the kids are picked up by whoever they need to be picked up by. Those things are so very important.
Yeah. And if your kids are playing sports, guys, be mindful. We're still in some record numbers. Temperature and heat. Make sure they are being hydrated. I think the school does a very good job of, what time they practice, because I think the football practice has started, but for the county, so being mindful of what times early in the mornings, and staying hydrated, making sure your kids are staying hydrated, and just be mindful, because they are practicing. Football seasons, it's the first games of the year, so make sure they're staying hydrated, and like I said, the schools are making sure they are practicing at appropriate times when
right.
it's not
And taking
as
breaks and things
yeah,
of that nature. Right.
absolutely.
So just some practical things that we want to give you before we leave you this morning is you probably want to start trying to make that transition to get your kids back into that school transition about 2 weeks out. You probably want to start then making that mental shift, that routine shift where they're getting back into the sleeping time early and things like that, adjusting those sleep cycles, those sleep schedules. So you want to gradually, shift their bedtimes and wake up times, maybe 10 to 15 minutes earlier each day to get it back down to where it would be during the normal school day.
And that's the 2 weeks out.
Right.
About
2 weeks out.
Yeah.
I think would be good. Yeah.
And the 1 week mark, just kind of some logistics and organizing and finalizing supplies. And of course, you won't get that list. You'll get that list from the teacher. Usually they are mail it out, or they now, like I said, you got so much communication with social media and that contact with that parent because I know they have a meet the teacher. So they'll have that open house orientation and they'll get that list. But the basic things, book bags, pencils, papers, folders, but teacher have their own individual supplies of what they need
for the classroom.
So yeah.
So make sure you get out 1 week out to those back to school bashes.
Yes.
Get out to those. You can get a lot of that stuff right there for free. You don't have to pay for that stuff. Another thing about 2 weeks out you want to do too is start just kind of reviewing some stuff. Maybe spend 15 or 20 minutes a day reviewing, what they did last year, some concepts or reading, have them to read some things, just to get that brain back into the flow of doing things like that. Another thing about 1 week out, start planning their outfits, and of course, I don't know if you do weekly planners, but that may be beneficial for you to do. That may help them to get excited about seeing, what they're gonna wear throughout the week. So be mindful of that. And then the night before, just make sure you pack lunches. You get their snacks together. Make sure they have water. As Jackie said, it is hot in Georgia, South Carolina area. The night before, you want to do a lot of these things. Just store them in the refrigerator. That way, you're not having to get up so early and rush to trying to get things ready.
Right.
Make sure they backpack is prepped. The night before. Ensure all their homework, forms that needed to be signed are in there so they can turn them in. Whatever supplies they need. All of those things. If you have to place them by the front door, then do that so that you don't forget it and have to turn around after you left the house and come back and get them. And, that just adds to the stress level. And then just know the night before, that early bedtime, stick to a solid, routine when it comes to the bath, when it comes to reading, getting your prayer in, and then getting that 9 to 10 hours of sleep that you may need.
And also, I want to emphasize, parents, make sure you communicate with your teacher, whether the child is a car rider or a bus rider, because that get confusing. Child could end up on a bus, and they was told that they thought the child. No, we don't have time to be thinking. Know that whether your child is a car rider and I'm saying that because I have seen that happen. Yeah. So just want to put that out.
Time flies, Jackie, when you're having fun.
Yes.
Listen, guys, we want you to stay tuned for the Concerned Ministers Fellowship coming up right after us. You Matter with Pastor Bush. And then 11 a.m. Saturdays with Sean. And 12 p.m. Midday Motivation with Alicia G. And 9 p.m. New Artist Profile with Tony D.
And also, guys, we'd like to thank you for listening to Help Matters right here on Shout 94.7. The voice of the gospel true. And we always like to leave you with 3 John 2. We wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper, guys. Remember, we're here to help you to become a better you, to be the best you that you can be. We always sow and show an act of kindness to someone, because you never know when the act of kindness may be extended back to you. We at Help Matters, you matter, your help matters. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. All right. See y'all guys later. Thanks for watching.
Facebook, thanks for tuning in.
Miss Ethel. Hey, James. Hey. Hi. See y'all later.